What's going on, you guys? Asylum Reviews coming at you guys with my Smackdown live review for the March 5th, 2019 episode. And let's get straight into the review. So, we kicked off the show with Daniel Bryan and Rowan in the ring. We also had a graphic for King Kong Bundy because he apparently passed away on Monday. So, rest in peace, King Kong Bundy. But WWE Champion Daniel Bryan and Rowan are in the ring. The fans start booing as the music stops. Bryan has the mic. Bryan doesn't speak, but he motions to the big screen, and we get a video package showing how Kofi Kingston lost his title shot for Fast Lane when Vince brought back Kevin Owens last week, giving him the title shot instead. We come back to the arena, and the fans are booing Bryan again. Bryan says he sat here and he remained silent last week as Stephanie McMahon, Shane, and everyone else gushed about Kofi. Kofi chants start up now. Bryan then says he remained silent when Vince brought Kevin Owens back. Now it's time for the fans to remain silent. Rowan tells the crowd to shut up twice. He tells them to open their ears because Bryan is about to enlighten us all. The fans respond with another Kofi chant. Bryan says he's not out here to talk about Kofi. And why would he? Because Kofi isn't a leader. He's a supporting player, which is why Kofi is exactly where he should be, with his buddies Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day, on a promotional tour of India. That's what Bryan said because New Day wasn't on the show tonight. Bryan says Vince was right to replace Kofi in the match, but he's not sure if it was right to replace the man who throws copious amount of pancakes with the man who eats copious amount of pancakes. I didn't like that line whatsoever because you're just throwing shade at Kevin Owens' weight. And Owens is not fat. He was never fat in the first place. He was chubby, but he was never fat. And he lost weight. So I didn't like that comment whatsoever. Fat shaming is definitely fucking just stupid and it's ridiculous. I hate it. So I didn't like that, a comment by Bryan. He goes on taking shots at Owens now, saying he doesn't deserve a WWE title shot. Yes, he does. However, I will say that I didn't like the way how he was granted the title match right away as he came back. He should have just earned it like everybody else did. But, you know, it's still going to be a great match nonetheless. But Bryan goes on talking about Owens, saying he doesn't deserve a title shot. He says that Owens is a nobody, but that's also what makes him so dangerous, because nobody is a somebody with nothing to lose. Bryan says he has everything to lose because he is the planet's champion. He goes on until the music interrupts and out comes Owens. Owens talks about watching every Raw and Smackdown from his couch with his family while he was away. He says as great as the time was with his family, it was also very hard to watch what people do what he loves to do. Except for when Bryan was out, because it wasn't so hard to watch. It was just awful to watch. He goes on about what Bryan says he can't stand people who think that they're better than everyone else. I am the exact same way. People who say that they're fucking better than another person, or they're saying that they're always fucking on top of the world than everyone else, fuck you, man. Fuck you. You guys are fucking losers. And I agree with everything what Kevin Owens said here. Except for when Bryan was out because it wasn't hard to watch. Owens says it gets worse because he had to watch Bryan throw the WWE title away in the trash. Facts. He says that was the last straw, and that's when he knew which brand he wanted to come to and who he wanted to go after. Still speaking from the entranceway, Owens says he speaks from his entire family, and he thinks he speaks for the WWE Universe when he says Daniel Bryan needs to get his stupid, condescending mouth shut, and he's the one who's going to do it. If Bryan then mocks Owens with another fat joke, because why, I don't know. Enough with these fucking fat jokes. They continue with the back and forth, and Owens plays to the crowd for a pop, saying he's just like them. He enters the ring now as Bryan mentions how Owens doesn't have any friends left, being that Sami Zayn is still out. We don't know when he's coming back. Chris Jericho is no longer in WWE, he's in New Japan. He's going to go to AEW. He was in New Japan, now he's going to AEW. That's what I meant. Owens says that it's true and it's also alright. He says he doesn't need any friends when he hit the stunner and pinned Bryan last week. And yes, Owens' new finisher is the stunner, for those of you who wonder. He still will be doing the pop-up powerbomb, but he's not going to be using it as a finisher. It's probably going to be as a signature. Owens says he never intended to take Kofi's opportunity from him at Fastlane, but it will be his intention to pin Bryan again, and this time he's taking the WWE title with him. Rowan steps up and gets in Owens' face. Owens strikes first and unloads on Rowan as they start brawling. He dumps Rowan over the top rope to the floor. Bryan and Owens brawl now. Owens goes for the stunner a second time, but Rowan comes in for the save. Rowan drives Owens down into the mat and gets hyped up over him. The fans boo as Rowan and Bryan stand tall with Owens, raising the WWE title in the air. We see Shane McMahon backstage with The Miz as he warms up for his match with Jey Uso. We come back, and the Usos, man, I love the fucking promo the Usos gave before the match started. This was great. Just trying to see if they had... So they talked about the bromance between Miz and Shane McMahon, taking shots at them. The Usos say Shane and Miz will be in the ring with a real team at Fast Lane, and they will get hit hard. They end the promo by giving a welcome to the Uso Penitentiary, and it was great. Just taking shots, and it was just awesome. The Usos are just awesome on the mic in general. The Miz is out next with Shane. And Shane says the Usos were making fun of them, but those qualities make them the best tag team in the world, and we will see who laughs at Fastlane on Sunday. The Miz gets hyped up and getting an opportunity in his hometown in Cleveland, saying he will make his dad proud and he will make Shane proud. Miz says, and that will be awesome. The Usos try to attack, but Shane and the Miz avoid it. They clothesline the champs over the top rope to the floor. We go to commercial with Shane and Miz standing tall in the ring. We're back from the break, and the match is underway. This was a quick match, honestly, because most of it just took place during the commercial break. But Jay drops Miz with a big kick to the face after missing the first attempt. Jay with a clothesline next. More strikes as Shane and Jimmy look on the outside. Miz counters and nails a running knee in the corner. Miz with another set of running knees. He charges again with the corner clothesline, but Jay counters and backsides Miz for 2 count. Miz comes right back for a hard DDT, but Jay kicks out at 2. Miz waits for Jay to get back up now. He avoids the skull-crushing finale and catches Miz with a Samoan drop. Jay with the big Rikishi splash in the corner. Jay goes to the top for the Superfly splash, but Miz gets his boots up. He puts on the brakes and catches the boots. They tangle up and Jimmy tries to interfere and make the save, but Shane runs him over and takes out Jimmy on the floor. Miz takes advantage of the distracted Jay, hits him with a skull-crushing finale for the 1-2-3. Now it's funny because before this match started, Miz told Jay to his face, he said, if you get distracted for 1 second, he's going to take advantage and he's going to beat him. And that's exactly what happened. Miz did just that. Jay got distracted for 1 second, and he turns around, eats the skull-crushing finale, and the Miz picks up the win, picking up momentum for Fastlane's title match. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Charlotte Flair, who requested an interview. She asked if it's her or does SmackDown miss the presence of her friend Becky Lynch. Flair mocks Becky some and invites her to show up tonight. The fans in the arena start chanting for Becky, and it's loud, of course, because Becky's over as fuck. Flair seems a little thrown off by the chants for a minute. Flair wants Lynch to come up tonight to talk to her about her capabilities going into the Fastlane match on Sunday, where they have a major stipulation in play, and so if they have a friendly discussion, Flair walks off. Still to come, we have Kevin Owens and Rowan in the main event, being that they brawled earlier, so made that into a match. R-Truth is having another U.S. Open challenge, and out comes Carmella looking fine as fuck as always. Jesus Christ, I love what she was wearing. Back from the break, R-Truth is in the ring with Carmella. Truth says he wants to be just like his childhood hero, John Cena, but he didn't realize that Cena issued an open challenge every single week. I laughed aloud at that. Truth says he did this once and he's already tired. He tells Carmella he's exhausted. Carmella reminds him that his hero says to never give up. Truth does some "You Can't See Me" comedy and mentions having Cena posters and bed sheets in his room. Oh, man. They go on, have a quick dance break in the middle of the ring. Truth is ready to go, and he says the U.S. Open Challenge starts now. Out comes Lacey Evans. She walks down, walks back. Okay. As she's done for the weeks now. Truth yells at her for her to come back and says she didn't want any. Truth says she's done and he's ready to go. And I love what R-Truth said here. He told Lacey, "Come back here, sexy gloves." I cracked up at that. That was hilarious. He yells at her for her to come back, says he didn't want any. Truth says he's done and ready to go, but Carmella says fans wanted to see him defend the title. The fans agree, and Truth says, "Damn you, John Cena." Truth is hilarious, man. The music hits, but out comes Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is in the ring now. He's ready for the U.S. title match. Rey Mysterio's music hits, and he's ready to enter another triple threat match. All of a sudden, here comes Andrade with Zelina Vega. They're storming down to the ring. and nothing happens. Right away, we come back, and we're getting a fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. Samoa Joe versus Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio versus R-Truth for the United States Championship. This match started off kind of slow, but once the commercial came back, it picked up and ended up being another fantastic U.S. title match. This was great. Nothing to take away from these 4 guys. We're back from the break and the match is underway. Samoa Joe takes control and drops Rey Mysterio. Joe sends Andrade and then R-Truth out of the ring. He drops a splash on Rey and covers for a 2 count. He keeps control on the outside, dominates Rey and the others. Joe with a big shot to Andrade as Zelina Vega looks on. Zelina looking fine as fuck as always. Zelina and Carmella both out there. Oh my god. I'm drooling. Andrade fights back, but Joe delivers another big chop. He stalks Andrade on the outside, but Joe brings it back to the ring and yells at Andrade to get up. Joe but strikes in the corner now. He unloads on Rey Mysterio, allowing Cien Almas to come back swinging. Rey and Andrade both quickly end up on the floor. Joe runs into the ropes and nails a big suicide dive on Andrade, sending him to the announce table. Some fans chant for Joe. He continues to dominate Truth and Rey, but they're down to the floor now. Joe is all smiles as he grabs Rey, but he stops to kick Andrade Cien Almas away after Andrade grabs his leg. Joe puts his brutes to Andrade. He tries to slam Rey on top of the barrier, but Rey resists. Truth then drop kicks from behind to make the save, freeing Rey and dropping Joe. We go to the commercial. We're back from the break, and this is where the action starts picking up. This is where the match starts getting fucking good. Andrade works Rey over while he's down. He hits the 3 amigos before that, and he tries to go for the frog splash in tribute for Eddie Guerrero, but Rey cuts him off and crotches him. Truth is still down on the outside. Rey climbs up with Andrade, but he falls to the apron. Andrade and Rey go back and forth for a minute. Joe comes back and Andrade nails a big crossbody for a close 2 count. Rey and Andrade tango again, and they try to go for the same spot they went last week, where Truth had Andrade up on his shoulders in the electric chair position. Jeez, I can't speak. And Rey hit that incredible Hurricanrana off of Andrade's shoulders from Truth, and they try to do that again, but Samoa Joe invaded that, and that's Andrade hit the crossbody instead. What happened here? Truth with a big clothesline to the face to Joe. Truth gets to the crowd to pop as he splashes Joe in the corner. He drops Rey. Joe approaches, but Truth catches him with a spine buster as Carmella cheers him on from the outside. Truth sends Rey into Joe now. He goes in for the double 5-knuckle shuffle on Rey and Joe in the middle of the ring. He hits it, covers for Joe for a 2 count. Truth works Joe over, but he misses the scissor kick. Joe applies the coquina clutch on Truth. Truth is fading in the middle of the ring. It looks like Truth is about to pass out. Rey comes from out of nowhere and nails a double 619 as they're both men are close to the ropes. Rey hits a 619 on both Truth and Samoa Joe. He tries to go for the pin, but Andrade takes him out, and now they're going at it. Rey slides out of the ring, hitting Truth with that awesome splash on the outside, where he slides in and hits the splash on the outside. It's a great spot. The fans chant, "This is awesome," and Andrade leaps to the apron and hits the Sunset Fit powerbomb onto Rey Mysterio, slamming him hard on the floor. That was a pretty nasty spot. And Rey even fucking hit the fucking Canadian Destroyer again. How many times is Andrade going to get dropped on his head by Rey Mysterio, man? Jesus Christ. That was awesome. Vega ends up hitting Truth with the freaking Hurricanrana, just like she did to Aleister Black in NXT, who is now her husband now. She does that to Truth. Carmella levels Vega with a big super kick for the pop. She nailed fucking Zelina Vega with that kick. Jesus Christ. Andrade focuses on Rey in the ring now. Rey counters with a Canadian Destroyer, just like I mentioned, and Rey hits the 619 on Andrade. He goes to the top and looks to hit the frog splash to capture the U.S. title. Joe comes out of nowhere, breaks the pin with a big senton. He spikes Andrade to the mat with the Uranagi. 1, 2, 3, and Samoa Joe captures the United States Championship. Samoa Joe, his first title in WWE. I don't know why it took so long, man. You could have easily gave Samoa Joe the Universal title back at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view in 2017 when he fought Brock Lesnar. You could have gave him the Universal title then. You could have gave him the WWE title at Super Showdown in his match with AJ Styles. That didn't happen. You could have done the same thing at Hell in a Cell. Didn't happen. But here, it finally happened. Samoa Joe is your new United States champion. Well-deserved, no doubt. Truth was a great U.S. title holder, but I think Joe can do better, and I think I could see Joe holding this title for a very, very long time. I would not be surprised if Joe holds this title for the rest of the year. This is great, man. It's funny how we go from a worthless United States champion like Shinsuke Nakamura to R-Truth, and then Shinsuke wins it back, and then R-Truth Shinsuke wins it back, and then R-Truth captures it, and now we have Samoa Joe as the champ. So this is great, man. We could end up getting a match between Samoa Joe and Mustafa Ali WrestleMania for the United States Championship, or we could get a ladder match with Rey Mysterio, Andrade Cien Almas, Samoa Joe the champion, R-Truth, and Mustafa Ali. That could be great. And if you want, you could add in Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, being that they are former United States champions. So that'd be great. But we'll see what happens. We see Becky Lynch walking backstage on the crutch. She stops and she talks to his staffer. And still to come, we have Owens versus Rowan. They show that again on the graphic screen. The announcer showed us a video of the New Day in India earlier today for a WWE promotional tour. Big E, Xavier, and Kofi reveal that they will be at Fast Lane on Sunday, even though they're not in the match. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus The Bar. This was a fucking hard-hitting match, man. Jesus Christ. Just like the match that they had with DIY, The Bar, another great match with Ricochet and Aleister Black. We come back from the break. Black is finishing his entrance. We go backstage to Caleb Braxton with the new WWE United States Champion Samoa Joe. Joe's fired up and he interrupts Caleb to take over the interview. He cuts a Fury promo on how the other SmackDown superstars fear what he would do to keep the title on his shoulder. He says his opponents will get nothing but disrespect for any man who has the audacity to come up for the king and his crown. I love what he said there. Joe says to those who have nightmares about the day they might step up in the ring with him, rest assured he will be along soon enough to make them go night-night. Samoa Joe's fucking great, man. I hope he holds that title for a very long time. Well deserved. We go back into the ring. Out comes Ricochet as Tom Phillips plugs the big match for Fastlane Sunday. They did announce it. Ricochet and Aleister Black will be having their first main roster pay-per-view. They're making their WWE pay-per-view debut as they're teaming to take on Chad Gable and Bobby Roode and the champions, the Revival, for the Raw Tag Team titles in a triple threat match. Out comes The Bar. Sheamus takes the mic and says all they've been hearing about is how Ricochet and Aleister Black are WWE's shiny new toys. On behalf of The Bar, Sheamus wishes them good luck in the title match on Sunday, but Cesaro says just like the Raw Tag Team division, Black and Ricochet just don't measure up to them, because they don't just set the bar, they are the bar. End quote. The bell rings and the fans chant for NXT. Sheamus starts off with Ricochet and they go at it. Ricochet sends Sheamus flying back and then drop kicks him. Ricochet with a standing shooting star press for a close 2 count. He fights Sheamus off in the corner, and he has to warn Cesaro to stay away from the apron, which allows Sheamus to deliver a big kick, knocking Ricochet from the apron to the floor. We go to commercial, and we're back from the break. Cesaro has Ricochet grounded on the mat. Sheamus plays to the crowd from the apron for mostly boos. Ricochet ends up breaking free and dropping Cesaro with a big DDT. Black gets the hot tag as Sheamus comes in. Black unloads and fires at Sheamus with strikes. Aleister Black with a low kick to the head. Black with the moonsault from the second rope. That moonsault is fucking beautiful, man. I love when he does that. Black drops Sheamus with a big strike to the face, but Cesaro breaks up the pin. Cesaro comes in for the double team on Black, but he still manages to kick out at 2. Cesaro lands on his feet from a counter, and he wastes some time, turns around to a Black mass, eats it, 1. He tags in Ricochet, and Sheamus gets sent to the floor. Ricochet tags in, goes to the top. Black flies out, drops Sheamus on the floor again. Ricochet with the beautiful 630 senton, covers Cesaro for the 1-2-3. Ricochet and Aleister Black defeat The Bar in a great tag team match. They're celebrating. All of a sudden, Rusev and Nakamura come out as they fought them, what was it, last week or the previous week? I don't remember. I think it was last week. And Rusev and Nakamura beat them down until all of a sudden the Hardy Boys come back as they made their return last week. And Matt Hardy looking fucking great, man. He looks like himself from 2000. You know, he's shaved his beard. He's got the goatee again, and he's got the tie-dye red shirt looking like the old school Hardy Boys. This is great. And Jeff Hardy's got the other thing he used to wear, so that was cool. But the Hardy Boys come out and they fight off Rusev and Nakamura, and we get Rusev and Nakamura and The Bar standing outside as they stare into the eyes in the ring of Ricochet, Aleister Black, and the Hardy Boys. And looks like we're going to be getting a 8-man tag team match on next week's Smackdown, so that should be good. We will see what happens. So that's going to be good, man. We see backstage Daniel Bryan hyping up Rowan for his match with Kevin Owens. Mandy Rose versus Naomi. This lasted 2 minutes. Wasn't this supposed to be a red hot feud with Naomi and Randy? You know, Mandy targeting Jimmy Uso, Naomi's husband, or whatever. They just completely buried this feud. This match lasted 2 minutes. I understand you're trying to build up Mandy Rose, being that she's having her first title match with Asuka at Fast Lane. So I understand you're trying to build up Mandy Rose, but don't have her just bury Naomi like that. That was just stupid. So yeah, she easily just drops Naomi with the fucking fairy tale ending, Tommaso Ciampa's move, and she covers her for the 1-2-3. And then after the match, Asuka comes out of nowhere and she attacks Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose on the stage. She drives them both into the Titantron thing, LED board or whatever, and her music hits as we go to another commercial. This was funny. So we're backstage with AJ Styles and Kayla Braxton. She's asking him about how the Kevin Owens WWE title match situation occurs to him. AJ says, you take opportunities where you get them. He says he wouldn't want to be in Owens' position for Kofi Kingston's position. But he goes on and says the McMahon family isn't listening to the fans, because didn't they say that they would listen to what the universe wants and they're going to get? Well, that didn't happen. The fans are now screaming for Kofi. All of a sudden, Randy Orton comes out. Randy Orton, man, I love what he said. I legit started fucking laughing. This was hilarious. He comes to AJ's face and he says, you gotta be kidding me. You're seriously... What did he say? You're seriously ranting about how someone other than you deserves a WWE title shot other than yourself? And then he says, I can see why it took you 15 years to get here. Orton walks off. Oh my god, man. Randy taking shots at AJ that was fucking great. I cannot wait for these two to go at WrestleMania. If you want these two to have a fucking 5-star classic, go right ahead. Go at it. Let them do whatever they fucking want. 15, 20 minutes, doesn't matter. Just like Shane and AJ did in WrestleMania 33. Do the same thing with Orton and AJ, man. I cannot wait to see these two go at WrestleMania. And then, by the way, I didn't mention this in my last SmackDown review last week, but Randy Orton also backstage with AJ Styles again, and he basically just said, what did you just say? The house said AJ what? And then he walks off, and so that's how the feud started, and now we're getting this with he calling him out in his career, and just it was fucking great. So Kevin Owens and Rowan, this was a very short match, being that Bryan was on commentary. The bell rings and start going at it. Rowan gets the upper hand early, but he runs Owens out in the corner. Rowan with a big running splash. He goes in for a dropkick to send Owens out of the ring. But Bryan continues running on Owens at the announce table, saying how he doesn't deserve the opportunity to fight him at Fastlane for the title. Owens gets up from the dropkick and unloads on Bryan for the strikes, taking him out. The referee calls for disqualification, and Rowan picks up the win by DQ. He attacks Owen, leveling him to the floor. Bryan comes over and he mounts Owen on the floor, talking trash. All of a sudden, Mustafa Ali's music hits as he's back. Remember, he had that epic match with Randy Orton, a month ago or so. He's been out of action since. It took him out of the chamber match. He was supposed to fight Bryan at Fastlane. Then it was Kofi, and now it's Kevin Owens. So he comes out, he saves Kevin Owens, and I love what Mustafa was wearing. He had this really cool Sub-Zero-esque blue attire on. It was really great. It was awesome. Great to see Mustafa Ali back. And I mentioned Mustafa Ali and Samoa Joe WrestleMania. It could happen. Or you could have the multi-man ladder match for the United States Championship. So that's going to be good. But this is great. So it looks like next week we're going to be getting Mustafa Ali and Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan. So that should be good. We see Charlotte Flair backstage walking. As she comes to the ring for the last segment of the show, as she calls out Becky Lynch, and I guess she just wants to talk to her or whatever. She motions to the big screen, and the Becky chants start up. We see the video package from Ronda beating the shit out of Becky Lynch on Raw. Flair says, let's see how she can get her very best friend, the Man, to come out. And she starts a little, Becky, Becky. The fan chants Becky, and Becky's music hits. She comes out to the ring using a crutch as always. She mocks her. Flair mocks her. She rolls to the ring. Becky says, it's good to be back as the fans chant her name. She says Flair called her out for a friendly discussion. Flair wants to know about her condition. Becky says she'd be lying if she said her body didn't hurt, but it's hurt before and it'll hurt again. And that's okay if the price to pay to stay in Flair's head. Becky says she knows she's in Flair's head, and Ronda Rousey's head. Becky goes on and says Rousey hit her with her absolute best last night on Raw, but Becky's still here, still standing ready to fight again. Becky says Flair knows Becky has owned her for months. The Becky chant started again. Becky says fans know her, that she can beat Flair with one good leg, because she did it at the Royal Rumble. And she says her ribs might be bruised, her arm must be almost broken, and yes, her knee is damaged, but damaged people are the most dangerous because they have nothing left to lose. Flair targets Becky's knee again, and she says, nothing left to lose, and she drops Becky with the crutch, and she just starts beating the shit out of Becky. But Becky taunts her back. She manages to fight back. Becky hits the disarmer and Flair. The referees rush down to the ring, break the submission, but Becky tightens it even more. Flair gets the upper hand. She gets free, escapes the floor, clutching her arm, and fans cheer for Becky as she pulls herself to the ring. And Becky says that she will see her at Fast Lane on Sunday. Her music hits, and she stands tall as Flair backs away from the ring. The announcers hype up some of the other matches at Fast Lane as we see Rey Mysterio versus Andrade on the fucking pre-show. I got something to talk about. We're gonna talk about that on Sunday's prediction video, or maybe we'll do it on Saturday. We'll see. But I'm definitely gonna talk about that because that is absolutely fucking bullshit to have these guys on the fucking pre-show for Fastlane. They should have done it at WrestleMania. They could still very well do it at WrestleMania, but it's stupid you want to put these guys on the fucking pre-show. And SmackDown goes off the air, and they also talk about the Shield against Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley, and SmackDown goes off the air. Overall, this was a decent show. This wasn't better than last week's show, but it was a decent show. Much better than Monday Night Raw, as always. So, yeah, that's all I got to say, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed my SmackDown Live review. And I will see you all tomorrow, or tonight, rather, for NXT. So, also 205 Live. 205 Live NXT tonight. I already saw 205 Live. We had Oni Lorcan taking on Humberto Carrillo in the tournament of the Cruiserweight Championship thing. And then we also had Cedric Alexander taking on Akira Tozawa. And then Mike Kanellis just took out some local competitor, and it wasn't even a match or whatever. So we'll talk about that on the next video, which will be my 205 Live and NXT results. So until then, I will see you all in the next one. Too sweet.